Lenape's second No Place for Hate designation ceremony. And I'm really excited about it because I think we've grown leaps and bounds over the years here at Lenape High School of developing a culture of respect. And it doesn't happen with one person or two people. It happens with just masses of people and people aligning themselves with the right values and morals that we have here at Lenape High School. And we're trying to instill upon everyone. And there's been a lot of efforts that have been coordinated to come together to try to make this place a much better place for all of us. Ladies, you can come right in. Come in and find your seats. So what we have is this, is that we have Lisa Freelander here, the project director from the Anti-Defamation League, that's going to present to us our No Place for Hate designation, No Place for Hate designation, and a banner that we're going to take a picture with in a few minutes. But I want to tell you a little bit about No Place for Hate and where we started and now where we're at, the activities that we've done, the activities that we're planning to do, and I really want all of you to possibly get involved in this as we move through it for this year and years to come. Approximately about 2 years ago, we saw a promotion in the newspaper about the No Place for Hate, some different programs that we're running, and we felt as though, what is this No Place for Hate? What does that mean? And we felt as though we have a wonderful school here in the Lenape Regional High School District, and we felt as though, well, what does that mean, and what do we need to do to be involved with that No Place for Hate designation? And as we looked into it, we found it was just a plethora of resources that could provide us different opportunities that we could bring and educate our students and staff. And so what we did was we created a group, the No Place for Hate Club. And there were some founders there that, the Adriana Santamaris, that now she's at Duke, and Antonio, who's, in the Army, right? And we had Maddie Shankowitz, who's down in Towson, and, we had Abby Harrisine, and we had, the Aaron Powells, and we had the Jake Demrys that jumped right in, and Ryan Lynch's that jumped right in and said, I want to be part of this. And I want to make a difference here at Lenape High School. And it was just through a brief assembly at our first day, the first day of school. And you could feel the energy in the room when we first met about just want to do the right thing and develop a culture here at Lenape High School. So we started talking about it, and the first part was, well, how do we get designated a No Place for Hate school? And we talked about, well, there have to be a minimum of 3 activities. And we all sat there and we pondered, well, what could we do? Well, we brainstormed for the first day, for the first, Jake, 5 meetings, 6 meetings, we brainstormed, and it might have been 25 different activities that we thought we could do. And then we had to stop that and say, you know what? We need to put this in place, and we got to put this plan in place and really start to go to action, right? And we came up with a lot of ideas, and we did some of those things. But it wasn't about getting 3 activities. It really wasn't about getting 3 activities and being designated a No Place for Hate school. It was about improving the culture of Lenape High School for all of you to be successful and all of our staff. But we said, all these activities that we're going to plan and all these things that we're going to build around, what's the goal of it? Why do we want to do this? Develop the culture, make it so that all of you can come here and learn and not be judged upon your looks, your religion, your ethnicity, your socioeconomic status. Right? That was part of that. But we said we need to be able to educate and celebrate our diversity here at Lenape High School. Those are the 2 key words: educate and celebrate. And that's what we did when we started designing our programs to educate and celebrate the diversity that we have in our building to our students and staff. So the programs that we did have now morphed and gotten bigger and bigger as the years have grown. And we've met just last week again about some programs that we're going to build onto. Now, one of the parts about this is that the more input we have from all of our populations in our building, the better we're going to be. So I invite all of you to come to our next meeting, and it's going to be in 2 weeks from now, and I'll announce the date and put it out on our @Lenape Pride Twitter feed, okay? And also out over the PA system and in our announcements, and we'll put that out to everyone so you know when to come, because we really want you to come because we really want your input. And we're going to talk about some of the programs that we're going to be building. Today I'm going to share with you some of the programs that we did last year, and then I'm going to share with you some of the programs that we're already planning to do this year, okay? So that's the essence of what we've been doing for the No Place for Hate for the past 2 years. One of the first programs that we did last year and this year as well is that we did our ID posters. And they're out through the building. I can see them across the back of the media center where they identify, they're in our hallways and our classrooms, and I asked our teachers on the first day of school to make sure that they hang them up. And we had old ones in the classroom from last year because we did it last year too. I said, I want you to take them down as a teacher, and I want you to put them back up in the classroom. And it may be one very, very similar, but I wanted the teacher to realize the importance of that going back up on a daily basis, and back on the for the year, and reflecting on, hey, I have to put this poster up because it's important, because it's the environment and the culture that I'm developing in my classroom. And the ID poster is something along the lines of, if you hear something inappropriate, a comment that you feel inappropriate and makes you feel uncomfortable, to intervene and say, stop, hey, let's not go there. That's not cool. All right, leave them alone. All right, and there were several other commands that were put onto that paper that were created by the No Place for Hate Committee. And we felt as though that was our stepping stone to give students and staff, a foundation of what to do when they were put in that situation. Because many of us said we weren't real sure what to do when we heard of things being mentioned in the classroom in the hallway. And some of our staff weren't either, and we talked about that as a group, of our staff being uncertain of exactly what to do. So we wanted to give our staff those tools and those commands that they could lead into. So those were the ID posters that we put up. We also had, on our first day, we had an assembly on the first day for our No Place for Hate. And we talked about, all our rules and things of that nature about, for the school year. But we also talked about the pledge and what No Place for Hate meant. And I talked about some of the things about No Place for Hate and how it's so important about building our culture. And then we had our entire student body sign the pledge. And there's one of the pledge banners is there, and we have the other 3 pledge banners, including this year, hanging in our north cafeteria right now. But last year we expanded into, we wanted all the students and the staff signing the pledge banner. We also moved it into back to school night. So we took the pledge banners down, and we had the parents sign the pledge banner last year and this year. They loved it. I manned the table myself for the back to school night for the past 2 years, where the parents would come up and I would solicit them, please sign this banner. And some parents would walk by like, I don't have time. I said, you don't have time for respect? Right? You don't have time to talk about supporting your children and our staff about respecting one another? Come on, I'm not asking you to sign a credit card. Right? Commit to the rest of your life for a scholarship of some of that nature. Sign it. And they signed it. The table was swarming this past year of people signing it, and they loved the idea of the program. And they were trying to find all of your names on the pledge banner so they can sign by your names. All right? But it was a nice feeling. So we reached out to the community this year and last year with our parents signing the pledge banners. We also had our Upstanders campaign, where we had the posters. We identified students where students were recommended by class advisors, coaches, teachers, and they identified students that they have seen be an upstander in the building. An upstander meaning that you see something, somebody's put in an uncomfortable, awkward situation, and you step in. Not assertive, not aggressively where you're going to push or fight somebody. You're going to step in to say, hey, that's not right. Hey, why don't you walk with me to class, right? Hey, or you go tell somebody. You go tell your teacher. Go tell their parent. You tell an administrator. But you try to diffuse the situation at that time rather than walking by or chiming in with it. And those were kids that were identified and publicized at Lenape, throughout the entire district, and also in our community at a couple different places, like Marcello's Pizza Place right over there in Marlton. They have it hanging in their front window, right, of our upstanders. So that was another piece of the program. We also coupled that with an upstander lesson, which Jake Demery led the entire upstander lesson for the past 2 years. Jake has been a pioneer with our No Place for Hate campaign. He's been wonderful. All right, and what he designed was an upstander lesson for our Camp Lenape. So all of the freshmen that attended Camp Lenape for the past 2 years have been educated on some strategies of how to be an upstander. Because we realized that we were telling you, be an upstander. What does that mean? And how do I do that? So I went to a conference. I saw this wonderful presenter down at Stockton, right? And they had this presentation of 7 different strategies of how to be an upstander. And I met with Jake and a couple other students, and they did those lessons at our Camp Lenape. Now, we've expanded that into our Leadership Academy of all the students that attended our Leadership Academy to be upstanders, right? We've done that. We've done that to this point. And now we've expanded those upstander lessons into all of our freshman health classes. So now all of the freshmen are getting this. So far, at Lenape High School, 50% of our building have been educated, minimally 50%, because our freshman, sophomore classes have been educated on the strategy of how to be an upstander. So in 2 more years, 100% of our building will go through that lesson. So we've done that. We've done Mix It Up Day, which our first year was rocky. We weren't really sure how to do it and what to do, and the efforts it was all in good effort, but it was challenging. Last year, we made some major inroads of doing our Mix It Up Day in October, which our next one is coming up October 28th. Where we had students moving, all over the cafeteria, but then we ended up saying, let's designate a couple tables and just start pulling kids from other tables and sitting them in the middle. We had nice fancy balloons. We had cards that we gave out, red, white and gray balloons, and then we gave them out cards, and you had to sit designated by the balloons, by the cards you were given. And some kids, they were pushing and screaming, trying to go to the table, but when they sat there, it was pretty cool what happened. Some of them said, I had no idea that you were from the same town that I was from, before I came to Lenape. I had no idea that your mom knew my mom. Or I didn't even know you sat in the back of my English class. I didn't know anybody in that class. Now I know you. There was some neat things happening there, all right? So that was a positive day of doing that. Now, that's one day out of 180, and some of those kids made friends from there on, and some of the kids that went pushing and shoving, they came back to me like, all right, it wasn't so bad. I met somebody new. It was a cool situation for a lot of our students, and I think it opened the eyes for a lot of us. We had students last year from No Place for Hate go to the Youth Leadership Conference as well, at the University of Penn, and came back with a mission and an idea, and also a connection with a lot of other schools from across the Delaware Valley, that they were contacting other schools and saying, well, I know this school in Pennsylvania is doing this, so why don't we do this? And we're sending more students back again this year in November, right? I still have one slot available. So if any of you would like to go, but you have to be in 10th or 11th grade. You cannot be a senior. Okay? So we'll do that again this year. We've had the Week of Respect, which we're in right now, which is one of the reasons we chose this week to do the No Place for Hate designation. And the Week of Respect, there's several different activities. And last year we had Coach Randy come in that speaks all across the country, and he talked about the significance of being an upstander and doing the right things. He spoke to our Leadership Academy, and he spoke to the entire school. So that was one of the assemblies. We've also had LTV do the videos of what is respect? What is an upstander? What does a No Place for Hate school look like? What do you want your culture at Lenape High School to look like? We did that last year, and we're also doing it again this year on the morning shows. We had our 12th annual March for Martin, okay, where before we started No Place for Hate, we did it, after school, and only a select population of the student body could participate. Well, we decided, working with the African American Club, we needed to make this more of an emphasis in January, right? So we did it. We had an abbreviated schedule. We did it at the end of the day, and we had the camera crew from Lenape TV. They filmed it, and they broadcast it on all the TVs throughout the entire building. So the kids that were not marching in the march could watch it on TVs. And we had different facts about Dr. Martin Luther King going throughout the entire presentation. And we encouraged our history teachers and our English teachers to talk about the significance of Dr. Martin Luther King. And they talked about those in classes during that particular day. We also had student leaders walk in the march as well, as his famous speech played over our PA system. And then we had an education opportunity after school where other kids came, and we had an actor do a representation of a slavery representation that they talked about and educated our staff and students. So that was part of the March for Martin. We've also infused a couple other things that I think directly relate to our culture, but don't really fall under No Place for Hate, but we like them a lot, were the random acts of kindness that now we're recognizing kids for doing the right things. For doing the right things on a daily basis, whether being an upstander or saying hello or holding the door. And we're doing more and more of that as the student council recognized that we need to do, and that was part of the culture. We also did the Redefining Beautiful last year for the first time, where Adriana Santamara gave out sold shirts, and it was about being beautiful. You don't need to put makeup on your face to be beautiful. And they did it right the day before the prom, which prom day there's a lot of makeup being worn. So we said, let's not wear makeup one day. And she wrote on the mirrors in the bathrooms and different things like that, and the kids wore their shirts. Guys wore their shirts. I had my shirt on, and ladies wore their shirts, indicating that you're beautiful whether you have, on the inside, it does not worry about the outside, okay? So we did several other programs. So we talked about, in the beginning, should we get 3 to meet the qualifying number to be a No Place for Hate? That was never really our goal. Our goal was to improve the culture and educate and celebrate the diversity that we have here at Lenape High School. And I think we're doing that now, but we need to do more, because I think we can do more, and I think we can do better, okay? And it can't just be a couple months when it's fresh in our mind in the first couple months, and we need lots of ideas, because you got all of you with the connections you have through social media and different things that you're looking up and the different ideas that you have, you can make this so much bigger and better than we have right now. So we need your help, okay? So we're going to do some activities today that I'm going to kind of ask you to think about some of the things that you've done, and then we're going to have lunch. You can see the pizza just rolled in, some salad rolled in from Marcello's, right? And we're going to feed you guys. I'll be with you in a minute. And then, so you have some opportunities, and then I want you to share at the end, okay? So at this time, it's my pleasure, because this is part of the ceremony where Miss Lisa Freelander will come up as the project director of the Anti-Defamation League to give our designation as a No Place for Hate school, okay? Miss Lisa Freelander.
Okay, seriously, Mr. Catani, you want my job? You basically took all of my words out of my mouth, and it's so exciting to me to work with administrators like Mr. Catani and the administrators you have here at Lenape who get it. It's not just about doing 3 projects so you can get your name in the paper and say, look what Lenape did, and they have their nice banner, and it improves your community image, and it's a great PR tool. Clearly, that is not why you all are participating in No Place for Hate. You guys get it. You're doing this because you actually want the school to live up to the name No Place for Hate. You want every student, regardless of what they look like, size, sexual orientation, socioeconomic status, religion, language spoken, ethnicity, all of the things that Mr. Catani just talked about, regardless of who you are working together to make sure every single student walks into this school and feels safe, and feels welcome, and feels respected. Not just tolerated, but respected. There's a big difference. We want to work past just tolerance to actual acceptance and understanding. And one thing, I do have one original thing to say that Mr. Catani didn't say. I hope that the No Place for Hate message continues with you when you leave the school grounds, because stuff happens outside. Stuff happens on the internet, on your phones, on your Twitter accounts, on your Facebook pages, and your Snapchat and Instagram and all the other websites I don't know anything about because I'm way too old. Things happen. People say things to make people feel hurt, to make them feel worthless and belittled. So if you carry the No Place for Hate message with you, even when you leave these doors, you have the power to stand up for someone, even if it's online, by just saying a few words, supporting that person who's being targeted, not joining, clearly, in the bad behavior that's going on, and only if you feel safe, actually standing up to the person who's doing the bullying or the aggressor, as we call it. I know that this has only been 2 years and you've done a handful of projects, but I can already tell that this has changed. I don't want to say changed. I didn't know your culture before. This has made your culture even more welcoming because of the No Place for Hate work that you all have done to really live up to that message. So I'm very honored today to present you with your second No Place for Hate banner. I hope that, like the other one, it will hang proudly in the school and that everyone will walk through the halls and see the banner and remember that you all earned this, but you have the responsibility to maintain it. Can you unroll with me? Yeah, why don't you come on this side and hold it up. Okay, you can see it says Lenape High School, No Place for Hate, Anti-Defamation League 2014-2015. All of the work that you did last year qualifies you to call yourselves a No Place for Hate school for this entire school year, but it doesn't mean that you just stop and rest on your laurels. It means that you've got another year under your belt of great work, great springboard to start the 2014-2015 school year with. I expect to see some incredible projects that I know Mr. Catani is going to talk about, and I really hope, and I know, I'm going to be back here next year to give you your third banner. Congratulations, and thank you for all of your work.
We'll take a picture just in a few minutes, but I just want to finish up with a couple thoughts that I have. You know, Ms. Freelander, you talked about it changing our building, and one of the things I've really thought about is that it's become a common language in our building now, talk about being an upstander and doing the right thing, and you know, they're reminding some of their friends and reminding our staff and some of us about what's important. And I think that's been a trend that wasn't here before in the past, but it's a common language that now we're developing. If you remember, you know, our No Place for Hate banner right now hangs right next to our mission statement, right next to College Hall, where all the banners are. So we're put on the other side of our mission statement there. Okay, so that's where the banner will go. Just a brief thing I want to tell you that, but if you look at this year already, we've done the ID posters, right? We've had Juliet speak at our assembly about what is No Place for Hate. We've done that so far this year. Just yesterday, we had James Clemente come and speak regarding his brother's, suicide, Tyler Clemente. So that was a full school assembly. We had the pledge during the assembly, and the staff and the students signed it as well, as long as the parents. We had our upstander lessons that have already been conducted on October 6th to all the freshman health classes and all to our leadership classes and our PGC students. And then we're also looking at an idea, and I want you guys to get it, because all of you are from different clubs within our building that were selected on purpose, selected from your advisors, but we like to educate all of you, if you haven't been educated already, on the upstander lesson and the strategies. So we want to branch out to clubs and different clubs, particularly the club reps. That was one of the ideas that came from the last meeting. We also have another activity that's new to us. We're going to be supporting the Unity Day this year. That is October 22nd. That's SAD. So Alyssa and Taylor have come to me and talked about advertising that and wearing an orange on October 22nd, so I encourage you to do that. It's the only day we're going to allow you guys to wear orange, all right, because, the Lenape Orange School thing. All right, but October 22nd, we're going to encourage all of you that, and we're going to do some different things over the PA system and also during Lenape TV that we're going to try to advertise and try to educate our students and staff about bullying. So we bring some more awareness to that. We have our Mix It Up Day that I talked to you before about. That's on October 28th. So we have some students that have already volunteered to participate in that. So if you want to be part of that, please email me with that. And I emailed all of you already about some different programs. And the youth leadership, like I told you, is coming up November 17th at UPenn. Again, I have one more spot left, so I encourage you to do that. And then our Random Acts of Kindness, that's going to be going on every month, but something a little bit different this year is that we're going to be putting the students that were selected by staff members, we're going to be putting their pictures down B Hall and make a huge collage of the Random Acts of Kindness as the year grows, to recognizing our students that are doing the right things. And that could be as simple as sitting with someone at lunch that didn't have anybody to sit with, or intervening and helping somebody, or holding the door for somebody, or a teacher's walking in the hallway carrying a bunch of books and you help them carry the bunch of books. It could be anything, but it's, again, developing that culture in our building. So those are some activities we have right now. We've also talked about, and I wanted to get your opinion at some point, trying to do at least one activity per month throughout the year. And one of the activities that we're looking to do maybe in December would be educating our staff and students about the different religious holidays that we have in the month of December, whether it's Kwanzaa or Hanukkah or Christmas, and we can expand upon that as well and have something going through Lenape TV and through our morning show, or something that would go out to our students and staff, whether our website or other means that we do have. So we're looking to expand into some of those other areas. We haven't gotten too much into the March for Martin in January and beyond that point. At this point, we're going to use some of our activities we have had, but we're looking for different ideas and how to enhance the ones that we currently have.